So, update. Today is Friday, the 19th. I have two doctor's appointments today. I've been asking them how can I prepare for an abrupt drop of all my medicines, like my epilepsy medicine, 6 from 0. But I'm also on buprenorphine with naloxone, but it's actually an opiate blocker. So it blocks opiates and makes it so you can't get high. But if you drop to 0 real quick, it can have real bad side effects. So, yeah, that's a problem. So I'm dealing with that. That's an update today. Now, an update from a couple days ago, I was able to go to the court. Now, the judge said to expect the judge said he'll be making a ruling on the exact date I have to be out. I did mention that we had an upcoming case on July 22nd to withhold rent and another upcoming case in October, and those wouldn't be able to be completed, and nobody's heard our side yet. He said he is not concerned in any other cases, and he has not been presented anything on our side because we don't have a lawyer. He didn't give us any opportunity to really speak. We were told to only speak about what we have on paper, and those weren't what the conversations were on, so we barely got to speak. David was shaking in his boots, so he didn't talk at all. But the landlord was making this crazy up shit. Crazy shit. That the judge even told the landlord, that doesn't pertain to this case, you need to stop. He told the landlord to stop, but why are we not allowed to talk like that, but yet the landlord's allowed to rant? Oh, they're lazy. They never go to work. They never even filled out paperwork for welfare. They've had years to fill out welfare, and they've never even made an attempt for welfare. Welfare just paid you $1,100, Bob, and they're willing to make another payment. But you haven't sent back any of the blue papers they sent you. My doctor sent the pink paper twice, so that's why we got the first payment. The second one, they resent as well, so we're all clear for the second payment. I've filled out for the second payment. You have not filled out for the second payment yet. You've only filled out the blue paper for the first payment. I came back at the discovery, called you, and I told you can get a payment by filling out this blue paper. So Bob is the one making no freaking attempt to get money from welfare. But yet, in court, he does a Trump move and he blames the victim for exactly what he's doing to the victim. It's kind of like if I was to beat somebody and break their legs and then go to the hospital saying somebody just hit me and broke my leg, just hit me in the legs, and my legs look fine. That's basically what happens a lot in society today, is the abusers and the people doing these fucked up things will realize that they did something fucked up, or they're doing something they're not supposed to, like they haven't filled out the blue paper to get any money from welfare, even though their tenant tells them that they can get a payment as soon as they turn in the blue piece of paper. But instead of admitting that to a judge or even discussing it in the courtroom, you're going to say that the tenant is lazy. Literally, that was out of the tenant is lazy because he has not made any attempt to go down the welfare and get me a payment. I cannot even believe that those words came out of his mouth, with how hard welfare has tried to get payments to him as he doesn't fill out paperwork. I'm down at welfare every week. Every week. My doctors are tired of hearing my voice about welfare. And we've already got him a payment. I even got a payment for David sent to him that David didn't do shit to get. David sat in bed doing nothing. Meanwhile, I got him a welfare payment. And the landlord has the audacity to victim blame. I get it all the time. I've seen it all the time. Somebody will injure somebody and then say he did it to himself. Because then you can get away with it. But that wasn't always the case. Before the 1980s, if you threw a guy in a wheelchair down the stairs and said he did it to themselves, something would be done about it. Today, if there's no witnesses, they leave the guy on the bottom of the stairs unless he has money or family or some support. If he's from a shelter, forget the guy. Let him bleed out on the floor. Probably deserved it, right? Meanwhile, that guy served in the military, saving children from burning buildings, came back to America, worked with one leg until a blood clot took his other leg. Then he decided to work from a wheelchair, but he had a heart attack from working too hard. And because he wasn't on Social Security and decided to work so much, now he's homeless. And now some guy's throwing him down a flight of stairs saying, "Look at this homeless bum." These circumstances happen every day in the new America we have built. My own father has heard me call him and ask for help because his second wife, who died of liver failure, popped my medications at times and admitted it to my father at times. Said it was only one time, and my father accepted these answers. I was talking about a horrible, horrible thing that happened to me at age 7 in Westford before I was moved around every 2 years. And it's horrific. When I talk to anybody else on the planet about what happened to me, they're horrified. They're horrified that nobody does anything. They never heard such a fucked up thing to happen to a person or child. But I tell my father, and the first thing he goes for is victim blaming, running away. It's a fantasy, it's a lie. And what's even worse is his defense on why it's okay to just call this a lie and call me a liar is because he lied about calling me a liar. And because my mother and father lied about calling me a liar so much, and my mother was lying constantly, and I was telling her to stop, and then she would call me a liar. And then this caused a big rift where I would try to get her to stop lying, and then she would try to catch me in lies or make up lies about me or try to make up lies that I said that I really didn't say. And with this going on, I'm constantly getting punishments, and horrible ones, for stuff I wasn't even home to do. 5 days a week, I'm not even living there. Meanwhile, my mother does crazy ass things, like goes into her medicine cabinet, pops her son's Vicodin, which her son just got at the emergency room, because he's having severe problems that still haven't been solved, and nobody's even had a conversation with him about the side effects from the massive drugs that his mother has him on. But that doesn't matter because the mother's going to lie to him and everybody else. But really, they're going to call the kid the liar so nobody finds that out. So my father is calling me a liar, calling me a fantasy spinner. Meanwhile, he feeds into his wife's fantasies and repeats her lies just like I did. Yes, I repeated my mother's lies at the doctor's, but now that I am over the age of 18 years old, I'm not fucking stupid as a fucking doorknob. I know that my mother's bullshit is complete bullshit. A kid bumping in the tables for 25 years is not self-harming. The overdose I had at age 7 is an allergy attack. You should never give another child medication, no matter how many times your mother tells you it's okay. My mother was making bad decisions on purpose. She was turning good things like swimming medals into made-up fantasies, and then calling me a fantasy spinner. Like, for instance, I once tried to show my mother a swimming medal I won in the orphanage. This is my adopted mother. She stole it from me. Brought me into the doctor's. Told me I had attachment disorder. Told the doctor that. Said that I was a liar, a thief, that I was writing my names on everything, and that I needed to be medicated. When I told the doctor the truth, that I won that in the orphanage at a pool, I won that at the orphanage with the pool, The doctor looked back at my mother and she said, I'm a liar and I'm a fantasy spinner. So, again, she's lying about me lying. So my father has no leg to stand on, except for that the stuff that happened to me is fucked up. It doesn't happen to anybody else. It takes a real fucked up mother with a real mental illness to mess around with pills in her child and put her child purposely in danger to make him disabled and get attention. But yes, that's exactly what Patricia was doing on Halloween, was trying to get her way because of a mental illness. And that's exactly what it was, a mental illness, when Patricia decided a full bottle of Ipecac was an appropriate punishment for your child learning a new word he didn't understand, repeating it when he shouldn't, and eating a mushroom he shouldn't. Is give him so much medicine that you could be destroying his stomach and esophagus. So much medicine that any doctor would tell you that you're completely fucked up in the head. Pouring pure Ipecac 7 ounces into a Dixie cup and having your kid drink all the cupful, and then telling your kid that you gave him extra as a punishment to be extra bad to him, and you want him to feel extra bad, and you show him how it's just pure, the cup is empty, and you're just taking the medicine and filling it all the way up. That's fucked up shit. Any doctor will tell you that's fucked up shit. And my mother admitted to this. This isn't something that's in question. My mother admitted this in front of everybody. My sister, my brother-in-law, me, my family members, my nephew was there. The extra part, she said multiple times, this was nothing new. She admitted this. It was wide in the open. This was the one that she thought, oh, well, you gave hot sauce to your child and you gave soap to your child. Well, I gave a full bottle of Ipecac to mine, and that's fine because I'm his mother. I know everything. I know what's best because I adopted him. That was my mother's attitude. She knows best, better than the doctors, better than the teachers, better than my brother, better than my father, better than my sister, and she knows what's best for me, even if I think I know that I need something. If I need to get help with a neurological disorder because something happened to me and I'm speaking about it at the doctor, my mother overrides me in less than a second, going, oh, it was an allergy attack. And the doctor goes, what medications were they? I don't remember, but there's no need to talk about it. And then then she asks one question, and all my doctor's appointment is all about her again. Same thing happens with Dr. Rosenblum. He barely wrote down anything I said. I mentioned my neurological disorder a couple times, the shakes. I called it shaking, kind of twitching like this. I kind of showed him what it looked like. And he said, oh, that's probably just ticks from the medicine. What we're going to do is we're going to switch these ones around. And it continued, and it continued, and it continued. And as I bumped in the furniture more and more, my mother and father spun even more fantasies, saying that if I jump in a pool and catch the back of my foot, that means I'm suicidal and I self-harm. If I have scabs all over my shins and all over the place and I'm bumping in the furniture, falling down, that means I'm a self-harmer and I'm suicidal. And at age 7, if I'm sucking on my skin because there's something wrong with my nervous system, that means I'm suicidal. And at age 5, if I play with matches, that means I'm trying to burn down the house on purpose and I'm a pyromaniac. When really, I had neighbors who are more pyromaniacs than me. I had a neighbor at Texas who was lighting newspapers on fire. I could see it from my property. I wasn't part of it. But then after he was done, I came over. I asked him what he was doing. He told me. And then he went into his house, had me come over another day, and then showed me a little tiny cologne bottle, which he filled with alcohol, then lit and threw in front of me. Oh, what fun, huh? How about the other kid next door in Chelmsford? Both of us came up with the plan to have a little mini bomb go off in the middle of the street. But that was at age 16. Now, why did these things not matter to me? Because my mother was already punishing me severely into hospitals for doing absolutely nothing but being a normal kid. And she's poisoning me on top of it. So if I'm a good kid, like when I would try this at times. Like one time I was at school. At Worcester, the whole time I was there, most of my childhood, I was always trying to be the best I could be. So I was helping out a lot of kids. I had a little girlfriend there. Things were going pretty well. Teachers are well liking me, but my mother's screaming for notes. So the teachers give a good note home saying I did a great job helping other students. Very good. It's very easy to understand the way it's worded. Everybody understands it. I bring it home. My mother moves the words around, takes things out of context on purpose, and tries to turn it into something bad in her head. But it makes no sense. She tries to tell my father this, but my father doesn't actually read through the paper and try to understand it himself. If my father just read the paper without my mother there, he would have been like, "Oh, great job, Zach. Yeah, you did a good job today." Instead, my mother's twisting everything up. So then she sends a note. "Why do you send my son's in trouble? I don't know what you mean by my son's in trouble. What do you mean? Just tell me what he did already." And instead, the school's like, "Oh my God, what is wrong with your mother?" So I gave the note to them, and the teacher said, "Is your mother abusive? Well, what is wrong with your mother? Because we sent a glowing note home, and she sends back this. Did she get the right note?" I said, "She got this note." And I showed them the note before. They said, "Yeah, we have that. This is the note, right? Yeah. It says you did a wonderful job. It's glowing. We don't understand you." I said, "Oh, you know what? This is probably when she turns good things into bad. Yeah, she did this before." And they go, "Oh, well, we're going to call home." I said, "Please do. It never works, but please do." So anyways, they call home. But when I come home from the bus after an hour and a half ride home, you got stuck in traffic usually on the ride home, 3 o'clock traffic. Anyways, and I was in Worcester from Chelmsford. When I came home, my mother was there, all pissed off, saying that she had a terrible call with the school, all pissed off, but not with me. Now she's pissed off at the school. I go back to school the next day, and the teachers say, "We tried with your mother. We're sorry, but we tried." Poor boy.